All right, welcome in, everybody. It is Show Ponies Wildfire, a brand new podcast. We launched it about a week ago in association with my website, showponymedia.com. I am Chris Childers. We are on the eve of the NFL draft. It is happening very, very soon. Cannot wait for it. It's in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is a blue-collar, steel town, rugged, all that kind of stuff. We all know about Pittsburgh, their love for the Steelers, moving on from Mike Tomlin, which is kind of weird, this new era. He's been there forever. I mean, you know, longer than my kid's been alive, probably longer than your kid's been alive, quite frankly. So it's kind of weird to think about where we're at right now with Pittsburgh and the draft and Mike Tomlin and this whole world that we're living in. It really is kind of different. But hey, I wrote today on showponymedia.com, and please subscribe, about what's going on in the state of Kentucky, and I wanted to start right there. I am mystified by what's happening at Kentucky. I really am. It's really kind of wild when you simply think about what is going on in the state of Kentucky. Andy Beshear, I have the tweet. Let me go ahead and bring it up, because this to me is just simply incredible. The governor of Kentucky. And I get why he did this. I mean, if you're just kind of looking at where Kentucky is right now and how embarrassing the university has been, it's kind of icky. But yesterday he essentially said, well, I'll bring it up here. Quote, "I'm losing confidence and growing increasingly concerned with the management decision-making at the University of Kentucky. My concerns include the creation of a new $1 million job that has no defined duties, and the announcement that the new dean of law was the only candidate not recommended by the law school faculty. I've been told that despite previously saying the dean must be approved by the UK's Board of Trustees, the university has shifted and now states that approval is not needed. I worry that these actions are related to certain donors pushing partisan and undue outside influence on the university. I hope students, faculty, trustees, and the community attend this week's board meetings and ask the tough questions that should be answered." All right, let's talk, okay? Let's discuss. I'm so glad this is happening. And listen, Andy Beshear is a Democrat. So get that in your mind and get it out of your mind, because this should not be partisan. I know anytime a politician speaks, everybody's got to preface it by saying, well, is he right or left? Is he conservative or liberal? Who cares here? Who cares? To me, this is all about one thing: making sure your university, which is the flagship university, which is a front porch to your state, is appropriately run, is run efficiently. And what he's talking about with the $1 million job, that's Mitch Barnhart. Mitch Barnhart is stepping aside as the athletic director at Kentucky. In the meantime, he's giving himself a $1 million job. $1 million. And it's undefined. You saw what the governor said. There's no role. He could go out there, shake hands. He could go to a fundraiser here and there. Hey, I'm Mitch Barnhart. I was the athletic director for $1 million. How screwed up is that? And it pisses me off. And again, I wrote about this today, showponymedia.com, and I go super deep into it. And I suggest that you subscribe, because I really go into how disgusting I think this is. But I am sick and tired of narcissists in this world. I'm sick of them. And I'm sick and tired of them thinking they're better than everybody else, them wanting more than everybody else, and them taking from everybody else. It's effed up, period. If Mitch Barnhart thinks he can take money, that is coming from the state of Kentucky. That is a public university. That is not a private school. That is the University of Kentucky. And Kentucky's known for some incredible things. Kentucky's one of those states that has a lot going on. It really does. It has a lot to it. Bourbon capital of the world. I freaking love bourbon. Elijah Craig and Maker's Mark and Woodford and all the good stuff. I absolutely freaking love it. Love it. I live in Nashville. I'm a Tennessee guy. I might be a little partial to some Tennessee whiskey. I love me some Jack Daniels. This is not an ad. This is just a love for a product here that's local, and I have a great taste for it. The single barrel select is something that, a little taste every night. Puts you to sleep, feels good. I love it. But it's a great bourbon place. Kentucky rocks. Bluegrass. It's a bluegrass state. It's known for all kinds of incredible things. Horse racing, the Kentucky Derby, Churchill Downs. Kentucky is oozing with history. By the way, the reason it's a bourbon mecca is the limestone, because it takes the iron out of the water, which would ruin the bourbon, which gives it that great color that comes out clear, and then it turns brown in the barrel. And again, I live in whiskey country, so I know these things. And I'll nerd out someday on the podcast about whiskey. I will. I'll get a master distiller or something like that. I love it. I think it is the coolest product that you take something and you distill it and you make it sit, and it has to sit for it to get its flavor, its character, its coloring. You can't touch it until 4 years or more. That's kind of a cool thing, and it's a pure American drink. Nobody else in the world can manufacture bourbon. That is an American spirit. It's incredible. Remember the nose itch from yesterday? Still there. I apologize. But what's so screwed up about this, guys, and this is a get yourself together, and I said this is my get yourself together today because Mitch Barnhart, the nerve to take $1 million for an undefined role, and good for the governor for calling it out. I think this call to arms is going to work. The governor even said today on Twitter that he's been getting a lot of calls and emails, and it's time to hold the University of Kentucky responsible. This cannot be a private club. This is a public university. Public universities are there to serve you and me. These are places that are access points for us to have access to education and a better life. It helps you to become more competitive. It gives you access to better paying jobs. Not the end of the world. You don't have to have it. Not everybody needs to go to college. So many people, friends of mine, massively successful, far more successful than I am without a degree. And I've got 2 of them and lots of debt and all kinds of stuff. So listen, it's not the end all be all, but there's certain professions where certainly it helps, right? And Kentucky is one of those places that serves as the flagship school in that state, that if you make good grades and work hard in high school, you have a chance to go to Kentucky and better yourself. And it's there to serve the state of Kentucky. It's there to serve the students. It's not there to be a good old boys club. The thing he said about the law school is weird to me, because that reeks of politics. That reeks of big level donors. As he said, I don't think the governor's lying at all. I think people are pushing in who they want with their own agendas to do what they want to do. And again, that's effed up. This is a public university. If agendas are fine at places like Liberty, we know what Liberty's about. If you go to Liberty, you know what you're getting. You're getting a highly religious education. You're getting an evangelical tailored education, which for some, that's exactly what they want. For others, it's not for them. But you know what you're getting if you go to Liberty. Kentucky should not be something where the law school that is training the future of litigators at a major SEC state-run university, should the head of the school be bought and paid for. That is absolutely ridiculous and wrong. And this is what pisses me off about the world. This is what angers me. I've said this over and over again. People that have power, more times than not, they want power. They've worked for power. In your job, in your profession, did your boss want to be a boss? Was that his goal to move up the corporate ladder, or her goal to move up the corporate ladder? The president of the United States, I don't give a damn who the president is. I don't care if it's Biden, Trump, Obama, Bush Senior. It does not matter. What kind of mental wherewithal do you have to think you can do that job? The narcissism, the self-belief. I mean, you got to be a little crazy. You could say confident and all that. Well, yeah, a little nuts too, and a little power hungry. People that have power are the ones, or here's what I think absolutely should be said. The people that want power should be the ones that don't get power. And the people that want nothing to do with power and just want to serve and just want to help the greater good of humanity, those are the people that should be running things. But those people get stepped over. That's what's so screwed up about society, the dog-eat-dog society. Because I really believe there's a better way to do things. I think there's a better way to run these universities. I think there's a better way to run the government. I think there's a better way to run everything that serves the average person. The problem is it's the people with the money that always have the damn power. And it's never in our best interest as the average constituent. And they trick us. They trick us all the time. You think you have freedom? Bullshit. Nonsense. You think you have rights? You think you have voting rights? Nonsense. You know when you go to the voting booth and you pick somebody, that candidate has been bought and paid for and handpicked by the billionaires. All those PACs you see, this commercial paid for by so-and-so group and that group, all billionaires or all corporate people, all have handpicked their puppet to sit in that office. You don't have a choice. It's an illusion. And these kind of crooks are the ones that get into power positions. And you could say what you want about Andy Beshear. He might be one too, but at least he's calling this out at the university level. And it needs to happen. Sick and tired of people just absolutely perverting these places that, to me, like, that's what I hate about getting older. The more and more, when I was a kid, I had these grandiose ideas about what life was going to be. Everything seemed pure and simple. Doctors were there to heal the sick. The religious leaders were there to help grow your faith. The firefighters put out fires. The cops did their job to protect people. The lawyers, helped the innocent and prosecuted the bad guys. I mean, we all kind of had this innocence growing up. And then as you get older, you understand how crooked everything is. You understand how money runs everything, even the things you love, even the arts, football teams, Broadway plays, movies, anything. All screwed up by money, all controlled by rich people. I mean, we saw the Harvey Weinsteins and all that in Hollywood. It's all painting this picture of who's in charge. And we're all under this illusion. But I'm glad to see what's happening in Kentucky. Call that crap out. No, it's not all bad news today. And again, I go deeper into it. ShowPonyMedia.com. It's right there, front page. Subscribe. I'm going to preview what's coming up on Full Ride a little bit later on, but that was the big topic of conversation that we had on the show today with Rick Neuheisel. And Rick was like, I led with that topic, and he's like, thank you. I was hoping you would. That's exactly where I wanted to start. Gotcha, Richard. We're on the same page. No question about it. But the other thing we talked about, and we had Matt McCall on to talk about this, was Thomas Hauck from Florida, the basketball player. Thomas Hauck, yesterday was the last day for the transfer portal. So that was the last day, to move around to a different school. Thomas Hauck yesterday announced that he wasn't really a transfer candidate, but that was a guy that was likely going to go in the lottery in June's NBA draft. He was probably going to be top 14. Instead, he's coming back to school. And the reason being, we saw Boogie Fland a month ago say he's coming back. Alex Condon just said that he's coming back. The Gators have their nucleus back from the top team in the SEC that was incredibly potent down the stretch, and they're hungry. Remember, they got upset early in the NCAA tournament. They didn't make it to the second weekend. It sticks in their craw. But what I love about it is Thomas Hauck is a Gator. Thomas Hauck loves his school. This is refreshing. In a world where it's all about money, it's all about NIL, it's all about going and chasing the money. This guy said, you know what? The NBA can wait. I love my team. I love my boys. I love the Florida Gators. Matt McCall, our SiriusXM basketball analyst, was on to talk about it. And remember, Matt not only works for us and does NBC Sports, he was a Florida assistant coach. He worked for Billy Donovan. He knows what's going on, and here's what he said.
The biggest news of the day yesterday was Tommy Hauck coming back to Florida. I mean, you're talking about a guy that is a first-round draft pick, no question about it. Some people had him as high as the lottery, and he's returning to college. I mean, I tweeted this morning when I saw his video posted, that guy loves being a Florida Gator. He grew up a Tim Tebow fan. You see pictures of him as a 10-year-old with Tim Tebow's jersey on. He just loves the Gators and is everything right about, being a Gator and wants to return to Florida.
And I just love that. I do. A kid that says, you know what? I grew up being a Florida Gator fan. I love those guys. I love the Joakim Noahs and the Al Horfords and the Billy Donovans. That's my school. I'm a Tim Tebow fan. This is my school. I love the Gators. I do the chomp. I don't have to run to the NBA. It'll be there. Now, what makes it easier is obviously the NIL money. You don't have to go to the NBA. For him to come back to play with Alex Condon and Boogie Fland, he's going to be compensated. Stupid moron show pony, speak English, but he's going to be compensated quite handsomely. So it makes it easier to say no to the NBA, but still, don't you love hearing a guy that loves your school as much as you do? A guy that gives a damn, who loves the alma mater, that loves the buildings and the classrooms and all the things that we all kind of associate with our memories of why we love our university. The quad and, the student union and, things we love going back to visit 10, 20, 30 years removed from when we went to school. Thomas Hauck gets it. Thank you, Thomas Hauck. Thank you for refreshing me. Thank you for inspiring me. I love it. And I'm thankful for a kid like that. So tomorrow on Full Ride, on Thursday's Full Ride, SiriusXM College Sports Radio 84, Rick Neuheisel with me, Chris Childers. We do it Monday through Friday. If you haven't listened to the show yet, if you're just finding me here, that's what I do. I've been doing it for 20 plus years. Tomorrow's loaded. We got Mike Farrell on. It is a Thursday. What time is Mikey on? Mikey is on at, I think, 11. But Clark Lee, in fact, where's my phone? Because Allie just texted me this not long ago, and I know I have the exact times for the show tomorrow in my phone. Okay, so tomorrow, here's what's coming up on Full Ride. 9:30, Clark Lee, the Vanderbilt coach. 10 o'clock, Mike Farrell Sports, Mike Farrell Promotions, our King Grump. And then at 11 o'clock, it's Mike Denbrock, the offensive coordinator at Notre Dame, who's done an incredible job. He was the guy at LSU with Brian Kelly. He coached Jaden Daniels, won the Heisman. He's been great with Marcus Freeman. We saw C.J. Carr a year ago, how he developed as the year went on. He got better and better. C.J. Carr returns at quarterback. Excited to talk to Denbrock and find out what's going on. The progress of C.J. Carr, having another spring. And I really, truly feel that Mike Denbrock is out of Notre Dame. Because remember, he was the former offensive coordinator when Brian Kelly was there. I think Notre Dame's got a different expectation, which I know is weird to say because it's Notre Dame and they have the history, the tradition, the championships, Ara Parseghian, Newt Rockne, all that. But they haven't been a national title caliber team. Well, they haven't won it since 1988, and they haven't been in the picture since 1993, truly. I know they've played for a title game here and there, but did you really think they were going to win it? I mean, when they were truly elite, I think you got to go back a little ways until now, until Marcus Freeman. Until they played for that title a couple seasons ago. Notre Dame feels different. The kind of player they can get now feels different. The way the university has decided to support Marcus Freeman feels different. It doesn't feel quite as restrictive. But Notre Dame, to me, goes as far as C.J. Carr. And again, we got Denbrock on tomorrow. But take a listen to what Marcus Freeman said over the weekend about his quarterback's development.
More than anything he does with his physical talent, the ability to put our offense in a position to have success because of what the defense is presenting is probably one of his greatest traits. Right?
Well, Marcus has done an incredible job. He really has. So proud of him. And he, to me, has elevated the program. He has convinced everybody, okay, now we got a chance in NIL and collective to play ball and go out there and get the best kids. And we know Notre Dame has no shortage of billionaires and alumnuses that are well-heeled. Everybody's all in, and you can see now the fruits of the labor. It's pretty damn impressive. And Mike Denbrock has been absolutely instrumental on the offensive side. And he was a part of that national title run. I mean, Denbrock's been rolling hot dice. I can't believe this guy's not a head coach. People keep bringing up his age. He's still got a lot in the tank. What are you doing? These jobs don't have to be for 10 years anymore. Get 5 good years out of the guy and win. It's nuts. Clark Lee's going to be on tomorrow as well from Vanderbilt. I am eager to talk to him. Clark Lee will be on, what time did I say in the text message? Was it 9:30, Vanderbilt. And Clark, remember, Jared Curtis now takes over a quarterback. There is no more of Diego Pavia. No more of two turns. No more of the guy that finished second for the Heisman, the runner-up, who pissed a lot of people off along the way, but man, did he make Vanderbilt more relevant than it's ever been. But he's gone now. Enter Jared Curtis, who's a 5-star, who's a different caliber of player that Vanderbilt's ever had. And he's not guaranteed the starting job, even though most people think he's likely going to get him based on talent alone. But this guy's more pro style. We'll ask Clark more about it when he comes on Full Ride on SiriusXM tomorrow. But here's what he did say about his quarterback coming out of spring practice this past weekend.
And I think it's important for us to give him time to close the gap because we do see the physical traits. So I'm trying to be very clear there. It's like, time is going to give him the opportunity to grow into the system, into the structure, because that position needs to be able to line up the other 10 and get them pointed in the same direction. Little things like how he calls the play in the huddle, his voice and command and cadence. Those are things we're going to be focused on for the next 3 months before we get into training camp to try to tighten all that down now that he's had the experience of going through a spring and kind of figuring out where he is. I think from the physical trait standpoint.
Clark Lee is the man. Love him. And, when I was speaking at the Alabama, the Red Elephant Club, when they just beat Georgia, so Alabama was feeling good about things. This was at Bryant-Denny Stadium during the fall, like the first couple weeks of the season, and Alabama looked a little shaky early on. Remember, had the early loss to Florida State, and people kind of wondering what's going to happen. They fixed themselves by beating Georgia. So I got to Bryant-Denny at a good time, and they were about ready to play Vanderbilt. And so it was kind of fun to teach everybody there because Vanderbilt's so been, just down and non-relevant about why they're so successful. By the way, if you want to book me for your quarterback club or touchdown club or to speak to your business, I think as far as, how to handle yourself on the fly, communicate on the fly, under pressure, I've done it for 20 plus years. I can help you in your business. I know the tricks of the trade to keep going, to when things are coming at you, live news, live events in life, Show Pony Sports Media at gmail.com. Just email me. Easy. ShowPonySportsMedia@gmail.com. Oh, and my 4-week class starting May 6th. We got a couple signups, few spots left. But if you're a podcaster, if you want to be on sports radio and you just kind of don't know, like, how do I become interesting? How do I make my podcast something people want to listen to? How do I pace things out? How do I organize myself? I want to do this, but I don't really have the skill set yet. I'll help you. Go to my website, showponymedia.com. Click on Show Pony University or in the YouTube link below. I'll have it listed there. Click on the Stripe link. Sign up for the class. I'll email you all the information. We start May 6th, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern. And boom, I'm going to make you a great radio host, podcast host, 4 weeks. That's all I need. Promise you. So get on that. Great to have Clark Lee, though. I'm excited about it. Again, we got Clark Lee, Mike Farrell, Mike Denbrock on Full Ride, SiriusXM College Sports Radio, Thursday from 9 to noon Eastern time. I cannot wait for it. But I was telling the guys at Alabama, the Touchdown Club, the Red Elephant Club, about Vanderbilt. And I think it's playing in with Notre Dame. I think you're going to see it with Northwestern. You'll see it with these major Duke. Duke's been really competitive in NIL. Even though they lost Darian Mensah, they still have done a nice job as far as spending. But I think what you're going to see now, not only do those schools have great degrees to sell and they're academic powerhouses, but on top of it, I think it's a little bit different world that we're living in right now for those Vanderbilts and those Northwesterns, because now you can take transfers. That's the key to Vanderbilt. How did Vanderbilt get good? Because you can take transfers and they do not hurt against your U.S. News and World Report rankings. That's the key. Chancellor Diermeyer, I think that's how you say his name in Nashville, Vanderbilt, certainly cares about the school's reputation. It's everything. It's a top 15, top 20 school. It's big time. But here's the thing. You can take the transfers. They don't hurt against your GPA and who you're letting in. So your ranking stays the same. Now you can improve your team by spending money through the transfer portal and get these great athletes. Look at Shea Ralph. Look at the women's basketball team. They made it to the Sweet 16. The men's program, Mark Byington gave him a huge extension. Clark Lee coming off the greatest year Vanderbilt's ever had. Vanderbilt's hot. Why? That's why they can get the transfers and it doesn't hurt their academic reputation. That's what flipped. And I've argued this before, and I'm going to ask Clark Lee. I think Vanderbilt right now, today, has the strongest athletic department in the SEC. I believe that. And I think if you actually zoom in and look closely, they don't have a lot of sports. They have a handful of sports. They don't have to spread the resources thin. They can focus on men's basketball, women's basketball, football, and that's exactly what they've done with the revenue share and all that. Vanderbilt's kicking ass. They started a volleyball program. That's huge in women's sports. Vandy's rocking. And Candace Story-Lee, the athletic director, and their president, Dearmeyer, those guys and gals should get so much credit. A reminder, we go deeper. We go deeper on show, ponymedia.com. Subscribe today. Help me. Please, it's like $8.95 a month. I'm poor. I'm like Kristen Wiig, right? No, I'm kidding, but please help. Subscribe today, showponymedia.com, and we'll see you next time. It's Show Pony's Wildfire podcast. Hey, tomorrow, happy NFL draft. Peace, everybody.